Hi BookTube, how are you doing? My name is Juan, I am just one reader, and today I will be doing the Who Am I book tag. This book tag was created by PBS as part of the Great American Read series. I am not even American, so who am I to be doing this book tag in the first place, but I don't care. That is not going to keep me from doing this book tag, you bet your ass. And so let's just do this. This is really all about your identity as a reader. And also, Who Am I is the title from one of my favorite songs from Les Mis. So, Jean Valjean, who am I? Who am I? 24601. Question numero uno. If your life were a book genre, what would it be? So I think my life is a great tragic comedy, something along the lines of Les by Andrew Sean Greer, which is a book that I actually really loved because it is a tragic comedy and because of the way that the author portrays the life of this character, Arthur Les. And that's pretty much how I view my own life, like a bitter, sour, but really positive tragic comedy. Something also very similar to the way that Woody Allen portrays these characters that he does, very Woody Allen type of characters in very Woody Allen type of situations. Sometimes I just feel that my life is a Woody Allen movie or a Woody Allen story, and that is great. I think that when you start understanding and accepting that life has bitter, sour moments and you can turn them into something slightly funny, that's when you, I think that's mental health, honestly. And not to say that I am a beacon of mental health, but I feel like that's something that is definitely a factor that makes life more enjoyable and more integrated, better integrated. So I would also say that my life has a lot of the ridiculousness of P.G. Wodehouse. Something that I really loved about P.G. Wodehouse's writing that I just read for the first time this year, for the first time in forever, is that I'm ridiculous. I'm constantly finding myself being ridiculous, just like right now, just starting to sing. And I do that every single day in pretty much everywhere, in every situation, sometimes very uncomfortable situations. I just do ridiculous things, and you know what? I love it. All I want is a room somewhere far away from the cold night air, with one enormous chair, and wouldn't it be lovely? Lots of chocolate for me to eat, lots of cow making lots of heat, warm face, warm hands, warm feet, oh wouldn't it be lovely? Question number 2. What villain from a book do you most identify with? And I have chosen this not because it's the one that I most identify with, but it's a book that I read very recently this year. And it's a book that is just very fresh in my mind. And The Butcher's Hook by Janet Ellis it is. And I chose this because you can see the villain in different characters. It's not very clear who the villain is. If we want to get really technical and really orthodox, I think the protagonist herself could be interpreted as a villain for sure because of her actions, because of the way that she thinks, acts, and reacts, and you just really identify with her. Even when she's doing these horrible, gruesome things, you are voyeuristically accompanying her, and you are a part of her, and you enjoy every little nasty thing that she does. If you have not read this book, please correct your life. Do that. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. All through my wild days, my mad existence, I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance. Question number 3. What protagonist are you most similar to? And I think I've already talked a lot about this character in my channel, but he is me. He was me. Bastian Balthazar Bucks from The Neverending Story. Even the illustration that's me. I mean, in a room surrounded by books. Hello? I mean, and something that this illustration doesn't really reflect, it doesn't do the character justice. The character is really obese. I mean, he's a fat kid. It doesn't look like a fat kid there in the cover, but he is a fat kid in the book. And I was most definitely a very obese kid. And yeah, he's just a character that has a very deep and wonderful, incredible journey of self-discovery and of transformation in this book. And that's kind of what my life has been like. So yeah, I really relate to him. But then again, sometimes I just feel like Miranda. I just feel like a goof, like a yeah, I even know that she's not necessarily a fictional character, even though Miranda is kind of a persona. So she is kind of a character, but sometimes I just feel awkward and ridiculous, like I just said. And I that's a great source of joy in my life. His name is Mr. Snow, and an upstanding man is he. He comes home every night in his round-bottom boat with a net full of herring from the sea. Question number 4. What book did you connect with in the past that you no longer feel the same connection with? And I have chosen The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. I haven't read this book since I was a kid, since I read them for the first time when I was in elementary school. So that was a long time ago, and I really, really loved them. But I am really afraid that if I ever reread these books now, I will not be able to enjoy them for all the Christian religious propaganda or all the religious things that are in this book that I'm just afraid that that would kind of kill the rest of the book for me. Some of the ridiculous things that I do. The hills are alive with the sound of music, with songs they have sung for 1,000 years. Question number 5. What book would you like to be a character in? And that is really obvious to me. Apple of My Eye by Helen Hanff. This is a kind of nonfiction memoir. It really is a love letter to the city of New York, and it's the best book that you will ever read in your life. It is absolutely wonderful and lovely and interesting, and this is the book that I would just jump right ahead into and just live there forever. I have dreamed that your arms are lovely. I have dreamed what a joy you'll be. I have dreamed every word you'll whisper when you're close to me. Question number 6. What do your reading habits say about your personality? And I think the biggest reading habit that I have that could actually tell you something about who I am as a person in general is that as a person, a personality trait of mine is that I am very, what we call hypomaniac. That means that, I'm a person that is always doing something. I cannot just sit down or sit back, kick back and relax. I am not that kind of person. Even when I go to the movie theater, I feel like I have to be completely engaged, and all my brain functions, everything has to be invested in the movie to really savor and enjoy the experience. I am not a very passive kind of person. So I'm always doing things. I'm always jumping from one activity to another, and that's fine because that's the way that I am very productive, and that's the way that I enjoy so many different things that I do. So in my reading habits, that is certainly reflected because I usually, not always, but I usually read more than one book at a time, and that usually is something literary like a novel or something like that, and then something like a collection of short stories or something shorter, something that I can sort of dip in and out of quickly, and also nonfiction. So I am very varied like that. Júrame que aunque pase mucho tiempo, no olvidarás el momento en que yo te conocí. Mírame, pues no hay nada más profundo ni más grande en este mundo que el cariño que te di. Bésame con un beso enamorado como nadie me ha besado desde el día en que nací. Quiéreme hasta la locura, y así sabrás la amargura que estoy sufriendo por ti. And finally, question number 7, what is a book that taught you something about yourself? And you know what? I am not a big fan of moralizing in books or of delivering messages in a book. I think something that I just read in a book, in The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, something brilliant that I read, among many other brilliant things that I read in that book, something that really struck me was that there's no such thing as a morally good or bad book, something like that. There's only good writing and bad writing. So that's certainly what I believe to be true. I really don't like when books have morals or when they're trying to serve an educational purpose. I am not really up for that. But many times a book will teach me something or will show me something that will resonate with me very deeply. And I guess that counts as learning something about yourself. And something that The Secret History by Donna Tartt, this is probably my favorite book of the year so far, and something that it taught me, among many other things, is that it's pretty okay and pretty damn fine and dandy to be pretentious and clever and even a little bit of a snob until you start harming people and you start harming yourself and others. That's a big lesson that we could learn from that book. And that's it. That is the Who Am I book tag. Thank you very much for watching. If you have not done this book tag, I tag you and 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 you there in the back. Thanks for watching.